Hello guys, today I'm showing you why you might want a compost tumbler in your garden. So personally for me, this is probably one of the best bits of kit that I've had for a while in the garden. It was a gift for me for Christmas from my girlfriend, and let's just say it is worth its weight in gold. And it's been that good that I don't have to use my food waste recycling bin anymore. Literally every bit of food waste I'm putting straight into my composter. So how do they work? Compost tumblers are basically a compost bin that can able to spin. So when it spins up, it should be able to spin the compost inside, so it should be able to break down a lot easier and a lot faster. With this particular bin, it is split down the middle, so there's two sections of the compost bin. So if you was to open the flaps open, you'll see one side has stuff in it, while one side has nothing in it at the moment. And this is because I've only been using this compost tumbler for 2 months now. The reason I haven't started this side yet is because I'm still at the moment filling up this side. So this side here at the moment is not even halfway full yet, and this has been 2 months of me putting my food waste and cardboard and stuff inside of it. So the reason why it's like this is because one side you can keep putting all your stuff in. So once this side is basically almost full, or about 75%, I will then start putting stuff into this side, which is empty. And then that'll take a couple months for me to fill that up. And by the time I fill that one up, this one then should be ready to be used as compost. And in order for you not to be confused on which one you fill up first, sometimes the lids have got marks on which one is a filling one and which one is slowly making compost, which you don't need to add anything to. So in my case, the one that I'm filling up has got a little plus mark on it, which tells me that this is the one that I'm going to be putting my waste product in. While this one has nothing on it, I know it's empty at the moment, but that means this one I'm not going to be touching, and I'm only going to be touching it once the compost is done, if I did have stuff in it. And then once I'm finished with this one, all I do is swap the lids around, and then I'll just literally put this on this side instead, so then that tells me that this one's going to be the one that I'm going to be fitting it up. Also, the good thing about this compost tumbler is the amount of holes it's got in it, because compost needs oxygen in order for the microorganisms to break stuff down. And this particular compost bin has got holes basically on every sort of like degree angle on there. And it's also got holes on the side of the tumbler as well to allow plenty of oxygen in. So not only are the holes actually good for allowing the oxygen in, they also let fluid out. While stuff is composting, it will end up developing a lot of fluid, and it's very good because the fluid will just end up dripping onto the floor. Or if you're smart enough, you could get a bucket or something to catch the water, because you can use it as like a tea or a liquid fertilizer to grow your plants further. And as you can see, there is some fluid coming from it, so it goes to show that it does work and it does leak onto the floor. And then when you put the compost inside your tumbler, then what you do, you spin it around like so. Rotate it a couple of times because it allows it to mix up even better, and then you want to be able to spin it between usually every 3 to 4 days, but it all depends on the weather and how hot it is. Usually, hotter the weather is, the better, because it means that this is cooking, so you're able to rotate it more. But during the winter, it's harder because the weather doesn't really get that hot, and because this is only made of plastic, it's not very well insulated. It's best off to not rotate it as much because you want to try and let the compost cook. Basically, just watch out and don't over rotate it, because if you do over rotate it, it's not going to compost, because like I said, it needs to cook to allow the microorganisms to eat into it. But rotating it too much is a bad thing. So it's weather dependent as well, but usually the rule is about 3 days for rotation. So like I said, these are very easy to use and they're very handy for a garden like mine. My garden's quite small at the moment, so this is my growing area at the moment. It's not very good at all, it's a work in progress, so I don't need a lot of compost at the moment. Because it's only me and my girlfriend at my house, the amount of food waste we produce, as well as cardboard and other stuff, grass clippings, isn't a lot. So a little tumbler like that is perfect for what we need. And also quite handy, because you can literally tuck them into the corner of your garden. Because usually compost piles are quite big, and they kind of like sit around in a certain area of your garden. And the good thing about these are you can move it anywhere you want in the garden, if you wanted to. But obviously, the more stuff I end up putting in here, the heavier it's going to get. So one of the downsides though is the fact it won't produce a lot of compost. But like I said before, I've only got a small garden anyway, or I'm building up a new garden, so I don't need a lot of compost. This is perfect for me at the moment in making what I need. And also as well, an added bonus is there's no smell. This thing actually keeps the smell of the compost inside. Usually they smell really bad, but literally you can't smell nothing unless you obviously do open the flaps to put more food in or more waste in. And with it being off the ground as well, it is perfect if you've got any pest problems or any household pets. Because another good thing is, if you have got household pets, they love food. So if I did have the compost bin on the floor and put all my food in it, chances are my little doggies will end up trying to dig through it to try and eat it. So it being in there is a god bless, because they're not going to try and go through it. They don't seem to be interested in it at all. So the only downsides I can see at the moment with this compost tumbler is the size of it and how much you can compost. Once this thing starts getting heavier, I don't think the legs on it are strong enough, because as you can see at the moment they're a bit flimsy, and if I do shake it, it isn't the best, and it's not even anywhere near full yet. But I'm sure it'd be okay, but you might need to put some weights underneath to hold it down. And because this is a plastic one, it won't work very well in the winter. It seems to be this only work in like 3 seasons, which is probably spring, summer, and maybe autumn. But the plastic is not very well insulated, so the compost isn't going to be able to cook well enough inside. Now, it's always important when composting is to use the right mixture of greens and browns. The same thing applies to a tumbler. You want to be able to make it so it's 1 part greens to 2 to 3 part brown. So if you have your greens, which is like your fruit, your veg, your tea leaves, your coffee granules, and then you want your browns, which is like your dry leaves, your dry grass cuttings. Cardboard can also work as well, and cut paper. But it's important as well, when you are using your greens and the browns, is to make them as small as possible. Eggshells are especially annoying because they take so long to break down. So you want to try and crunch them up as much as you can. Stuff like tea leaves ain't a problem. Same as cardboard as well. You want to try and break them down as much as you can, because even though the compost tumbler is faster at breaking stuff down, you still want to be able to make it even quicker. Otherwise you can have compost with some reason eggshells in it where they haven't decomposed. So if you guys are interested in getting your own compost tumbler, this one here is a 160 litres one, and it's from Out Sunny, which you can find on Amazon. I think it's about 60 quid, I think it is, for one of these. But like I said, it'll save you a lot of money in the long run. You'll be making your own compost and not buying some from the shops. I'll leave a link in the description of which one it is that I've got here. But you can look online at other ones as well, because you can get ones where it's just a single one, or you can get an insulated one that can work throughout the whole year. And it's metal, so it'd be basically a lot better than this plastic one. But this one is still good for what I need. So I hope you guys did enjoy on the reasons why I like my compost tumbler and how they basically work, really.